What's going on, everybody out there? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I'm your host, Moon616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, 31 Days of Horror Volume 8, Day 29, coming at you live and direct. All right, so we're going to go over to France with a film from 1979, released by Severin, directed by Alain Geschois. I do know the name because he directed Shock Treatment, I believe in 72 or 73, something like that. It's a film I've seen years and years ago, which is an excellent film. Which is actually the only other film I've seen by this guy, and he's a widely renowned director too. So, but it is called The Dogs, simply The Dogs. There is a lot of horror films that have very simple titles like this, but this is a different type of horror film. All right. So getting into the premise of this one, basically this one follows our main character, Victor. He's a doctor who has just moved to this like small French town. I want to say it's probably just outside of Paris. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think they really specify, but it's like a smaller town. And what he notices right away after, starting up his practice is that all these people are coming in like every single day with all these dog bites. And he's like, what the hell is going on? Why is there so many dog bites that I'm treating? It's like, he can't really figure it out. So anyways, he kind of goes on and he starts talking to some of the locals, and, they start talking about how, yeah, like everybody has dogs and like, it's kind of crazy out there and stuff. And he's like, this is so weird. So anyways, next thing you know, we get this girl, we start following this girl, and she ultimately kind of gets raped. Anyway, she goes to see the doctor and stuff like that. She gets treated and things like that. And she's like, pretty much like your kind of normal person and stuff. But soon after, this tragic event happens to her, she goes out and gets herself a big guard dog, basically. And it kind of changes her a little bit. And of course, the dog bites and stuff, they keep happening. And Victor starts to investigate a little bit, which brings them to like this dog training facility run by this guy named Morale. Which I don't think is coincidental that his name is Morale in the film. But anyways, he starts to investigate as to why there's so many people in this town that have these big trained, like kind of killer dogs and stuff like that. And so he's kind of looking into it because it's pretty violent there and stuff. So, but yeah, I'll just leave the premise right there. All right, so my thoughts on this movie. Now, this is one of those films where it's not a horror film that is spoon-fed to you. It's from the surface, outside, when you're looking at this one from the outside looking in, it probably wouldn't even appear to be a horror film to a lot of people, but that's because you got to kind of read, the horror is between the lines. It really is between the lines in this film. This movie touches on a lot of really touchy subjects, and it does it so naturally, and it's one of those films where you watch the movie and you go, shit, okay, but then it sticks with you. You keep thinking about it. You keep thinking about it. You keep thinking about these characters and the decisions that they made and what really transpired throughout, the beginning of the film to the end of the film and stuff like that. So essentially, this movie, it touches on a lot of subjects. It touches on like classism. It touches on racism. There's a lot of racist talk. Like black people in this movie they're basically bottom feeders. Like, it's so horrific the way people talk about the black people in this film, and it's just like, it's so just fly by the night. That's just the way it is. It's just terrible. But yeah, it deals with classism, racism. It has this level of paranoia to this movie. Like the whole atmosphere is like, it's just screaming of paranoia and people's insecurities. That's really what it's touching on in this world. This movie's really ahead of its time in a sense of like, how people kind of resort to different means when things happen to them, or they feel like there's a level of paranoia there where they need to have protection and just go out of their way to be like this. The horror really lies within people and the evils that people can become. Great example with our lead character, the female that gets raped in the film. I can't remember what her name is right now, but she seems like she's a very level-headed person, and when she has this tragic event happen to her, she gets this dog, and then she starts to it's almost like this weird relationship that everybody in this film has with their dogs. It's like their dog is the end of the world. Like, this is it. The whole lives, everyone's lives just revolve around these dogs. Like, there's a bunch of scenes in this film where, where Victor goes to this club. It's like a golf clubhouse or whatever. And, you know, you go there on a regular time and, you know, you just see people eating and stuff. But this particular place he goes to eat at, there is people in there with their fucking huge, like, killer German shepherds and all these big dogs and stuff. And it's just like a normal thing to everybody in this, like, reality. It's so random. Like, you wouldn't just go into a random place in today's world and see, like, these big ass dogs eating out of fancy dishes in a really fancy up class restaurant. Like, you just wouldn't see shit like that. So that's where the horror of it kind of lies, is within people, and the paranoia and the insecurities and stuff that people have about themselves. But it's crazy too, because you also have this kind of subplot where you have these teenagers who are kind of like the peasants. They kind of represent like the lower class, like the peasants and stuff like that. And they're trying to uprise against, like, you know, the high powers and the evils that may be within, you know, these dog owners and this hierarchy that's, you know, dwelling in this small village and stuff, like in the city and stuff. And what they do is they essentially go out of their way to, like, you know, abduct these dogs and, like, do things to them. They don't kill them, but there is actually one pretty nasty scene where they have this dog tied up, and the dog is, like, literally tied up with, like, a muzzle, and it's awful because you can hear the dog whining and shit. I'm just like, oh fuck. But anyways, but yeah, there's a level of, like, you know, like I said, with the whole classism with these lower class kids, and, like, you know, this hierarchy and all these people that are kind of conformed to, like, these evils that it's really interesting. It's a really interesting film. But yeah, and of course that transpires into something pretty horrific too with the teenagers and stuff. But yeah, like, it's one of those movies that, like, you could probably watch this film with somebody and be like, that's not a fucking horror movie at all. But like I said, you read between the lines, and there's a lot of nasty bits in there. Like I said, with the racism, it's just horrific in itself. Like, how people can just be so vile and just talk about other people so specific and just so bluntly and just never faze them. Like, it's crazy to me. And or how you can, like, train dogs, and that's where the whole thing about his name being Morale, I don't think it's actually pronounced like that. It's a French film, it's subtitled and stuff, but it's spelt like Morale. But, like, he trains dogs for, like, protection, and, like, he has a system, right? He doesn't train them to go after throats and things like that, but in a sense, he's like this evil person that is still doing this. And it's really crazy. The cool thing about this film, it actually has, like, a level of, like, political, it's highly politicized too. And it's got this level of politics that, like, is very relevant to, like, today's world too. It's actually, there's a scene in the film where the mayor of this town actually gets attacked and killed, and at first they kind of chalk it up as an accident. Oh, this dog got out of control and attacked him and stuff like that. But Victor and other people know that this is not the case, is because it's about other things. It's about politics. It's very political and stuff, and it's nasty. It's horrific. It's brutal, and yeah, it's written really well. Like, it's one of these films that I watched last night, went to work, did all my deliveries, and I was thinking about this film all day, and I'm just like, damn, dude, like, you know, these are the type of movies that really kind of stick with you and stuff, and you could probably watch a few times and pick up other parts of the narrative and stuff like that too. But it's essentially like a character study of people, you know, of their insecurities, their paranoia, just how people can be so fucking evil in reality. Like, it appears that these people are that they're okay, but they're not. They're fucked up. They're like exactly what's wrong with the world. The evil is in these people that appear to be, you know, the hierarchy, you know, the white hierarchy of society and stuff like that. No, it's fucking nasty. But pretty cool stuff, man. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. It does have some pretty awesome cinematography. The acting is phenomenal in this. I think the stunt work or the training that they did with these dogs is incredible. It honestly is really incredible. Like, how, I mean, there's a lot of cases where they show these dogs training, jumping things and doing, like, and I mean, they're obviously doing this stuff. Like, it's not acting, it's a dog being trained. Pretty crazy stuff. Now, I know one of the guys, I think the guy that actually plays the dog trainer in this film, I read a quick little factoid on him, is that he took the role in the film as the dog trainer. And there's scenes where he's in a dog suit and he's being fully attacked. In fact, there's a lot of scenes in the film where people are just full on being attacked with these suits on, with the training and stuff, where he took the role because he wanted to get over his fear of dogs, because I guess 2 or 3 weeks before he got offered the role in this film, he actually got attacked by a dog and he was terrified of big ass dogs. So if you want to get over your fear of dogs, go and do a fucking movie like this, because this shit's got a lot of, like, every dog in this is like a German Shepherd, like a boxer, like just big ass gnarly dogs and shit like that, right? But very interesting, interesting character study of the evils of man, really. And yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, it's not probably going to be for everybody. I think some people might really not see what I'm seeing, but hey, that's fine too, man. You can interpret it any way you want, right? But yeah, The Dogs from 1979 from France. And yeah, so we're going to be back tomorrow in day 29, or day 30, I should say. And we're going to do our 2024 watch. So that's the one thing I haven't done yet. And yeah, so we'll get to that day 30. And as usual, check you guys tomorrow.